Well, welcome to another episode of the Blueprint Podcast. Man, today's going to be awesome. We got, once again, Mr. Josh David with CTC Mortgage in the house. We got Brian with City Quest. We are going to be talking about the cheat code to new construction, talking about how to get financing, how to buy new construction, where to buy new construction, how to sell new construction, all the things. So before we dive in, we're all hungry guys. We live here in Houston. It's a great place to eat. So we brought in some food. So why don't you, JD, I know you got some food. Tell us what you brought. I brought some stuff. Brian forgot to bring his food. So
it's all good. Running late. Next time.
We got you next time, bro. So tell us what we eating, man. What we eating?
So, hey, for my third time here, I thought let's spice it up with some Indian food.
Let's
the
do
best
it.
food out there.
Okay.
And I'm biased.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm South Asian, but
all right.
We got some Indian food. We're keeping it plain and simple with some great chicken biryani.
Okay, man. Well, pass it over here, man. I'm ready to get into this, man. So, and what I brought for us is some dessert. So we got the peach cobbler lady. So we'll dig into that in a little bit. But the peach cobbler lady, she's a artisan baker, and I find her stuff at Rado Market here in 3rd Ward. And so literally she's always selling out because I see everyone leaving is always getting her to go. And so I've been trying to get some of her pastries, and so we finally got some today. So we'll try some of those later on. Ooh. But
hey, next time I'm bringing some Persian food because I'm also biased. Persian food is the best. Hey. That was the plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't want to be too late.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I just so
like, what time. Is like? Well, I mean, like, what's the difference between like Persian food and like other, South Asian food?
Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Great question. I think
kind of similar, right?
So here's the thing. A lot of people think that Persian food is similar. However, it's a lot of skewered, grilled meats.
Mm-hmm.
So like Persian barbecue is the best way I like to put it. And guess what our marinade is? Saffron. Delicious
great.
Saffron.
Okay.
And so and here's the thing about Persian food is that it's not spicy. It's just, in my opinion, it's very healthy, right? You got meats, you got nice, clean, steamed basmati rice.
Okay.
Basmati rice.
Oh yeah.
Gotta say it in a Persian accent real quick.
yeah, you gotta drop that.
And yeah, it's delicious. I can't wait till you guys try it.
Yeah, I love that you definitely got the spicy biryani.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Hey, should I add some of this? What is this called?
It's the raita. So it's basically
raita.
I think it's a yogurt base, just to soften up the spices.
Ooh,
just in case.
I love it. Here, let me try it.
Try it without it. Try it with it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I love a good biryani, a good chicken biryani. You really can't go wrong with it.
Safe, simple.
A good dal too. Just a simple, simple dal, man. You're good to go, man. That's expert level Indian food though, and it's so funny. It's expert level because it's so simple. Like, and it's one of those things where people who actually live in India, that's what they eat every day. Americans, like, we very rarely order dal, right? We're like, we want to get butter chicken, give me the, the tikka masala. But like, if you get you some, and basically what dal is for those who don't know, it's basically lentils. It's kind of a lentil curry, and some of the best heartwarming stuff. It will change your life. So
it's like a soup.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's more of a curry, not really soup. It's like
a yellow curry.
Do you pair it up with rice?
You can. That's what I do.
Naan.
Yeah, but like the best way is like, just some naan and just dip it in there with your naan, eat it that way. But like, I'm kind of like, I Americanize it and I like put my rice inside of it, and kind of mix it all up and kind of make it into a kind of a casserole type thing. But that's kind of my thing. So yeah,
that's awesome. I can't wait to try it.
So hopefully food is good. You enjoyed it?
Amazing.
You like it? Hey.
Wow.
I'll let y'all know
who it is.
Have you had
this place before?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Wait. So where is this? Where is this? Where do you get from?
Tarka Kitchen.
Okay.
Tarka.
Okay.
Tarka.
Dude, Tarka's
Tarka's good.
They always treat you well, quick.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
For like a big, because Tarka's become like a big brand name in Houston, and a lot of people write it off. They want to go to these like mom and pop Indian spots, which is fine too.
Yeah.
We all know mom and pops are amongst the best. Of Houston cuisine. However, people write off Tarka. Tarka's really good.
Yeah.
Like, they're consistent across the board in that mango juice. Have you tried it before? You
got
got
it on
go.
your bucket list.
Okay.
Delicious.
They have like this mango juice by the fountain drinks.
Okay.
So good.
Okay.
It's so good.
Yeah, I'll definitely try it out.
I'm terrified to eat this jalapeno.
You brought water?
Yes.
Okay. You might need it. But Brian,
talk to me, Bubba.
We know you pretty well. We know Mr. Brian Shemirani.
Yes.
But for our audience, this is your first time here. Tell us a little about you, maybe some hobbies, some interest, who you are. Because obviously, I think they can see your City Quest properties.
Yes, sir.
But tell them what they don't know.
What do people not know about me? I have like severe ADHD.
Okay.
But I've sort of, well, I guess, yeah. Okay. So I've tried to turn it into my superpower.
Okay.
And I think before I used to look at it as something that was holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
I would look around and I'd see people super organized and just effortlessly compartmentalizing things in their heads.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be like, man, that's like, I wish I had that. And I think through just honing in on like the strengths of ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
but also, I mean, you got to be organized.
Yeah.
Right. I'm getting there. I think with the help of City Quest, when they have those systems in play that make it really easy.
Yeah.
I think my ADHD and the systems of City Quest paired together is magic.
So tell us, what is your role at City Quest? Like, what is it that you do?
I am a new development manager working with some of our developers there. And I'm also a team lead of my own group called Odyssey Group.
Okay.
That's powered by City Quest.
Okay.
So you got, I basically just, consult.
Mm-hmm.
I help developers with pretty much every aspect of their game plan, from conceptualizing a project to being able to hand the keys to the buyers.
Okay.
Moving in.
Man, that's
so from
awesome.
A to Z.
Yeah, so y'all are a brokerage, or I guess how would you define?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
We are a brokerage.
Okay.
And the founder of the company, Patrick Burbridge, has been doing this for a long time. He actually started City Quest in 2008, right after the U.S. financial collapse, basically. And he rode the waves and kept City Quest alive and grew it to where we are today. And I was lucky enough to learn from him when I was very young. I was 22 years old, and in 2016, when I got licensed, the new construction space in Houston was a baby. And though big builders obviously had been developing in the suburbs, you have what I call craft developers who are entrepreneurial, and they have an idea to bring value to their community, and they wanted to be developers, and I thought that was such an interesting space. So I dove right in, and it's been a huge blessing to be in this space.
Yeah.
But yeah, we my role is, a mentor as well there.
Okay.
I love helping newer agents. What Patrick did for me, basically, I like to pass that on and do that for other agents as well.
Okay.
To the best of my ability.
Yeah.
That's how the Odyssey Group's here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's up?
Cool.
Shoot. Well, hey, we're hitting 2025. A lot of people are thinking about different brokerages. A lot of people have left the industry, but there's some people who are wanting to stay in the industry.
Yeah.
What do you bring different with Odyssey Group versus any other big name brokerages and teams? Because everybody says, join us, we're offering this, offering that. But what makes you stand out? Because I'm assuming, hey, you're going to offer basically the same thing everybody else is. Or is it going to be different?
I think it's going to be what everybody else is offering plus the juice. And what I mean about the juice, the sauce, is experience, right? Here's the thing that I always say about what Patrick did for me, and others, by the way. There's other people who helped me along the way for sure, but one of the things that Patrick did for me was I learned so much in a condensed period because I was put into experience situations. And so some things that would have taken me 10 years to learn, it took me just a few years to actually experience those things and learn from them and grow quicker and more efficiently. It really sharpened me. So what I do is I put people in those same positions of experience growth, where they're getting real life transaction experience on some of Houston's coolest projects. And I think that goes a long way for someone who especially is wanting to get into this business, because you guys know how difficult this business is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Turnover rate's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. And a lot of people got out of the business this year, right? And I think made a mistake, because I definitely think that the industry is going to turn around next year in 2025. So take us into kind of how you got into new construction. Kind of what was your journey? I know you kind of talked about joining the City Quest team around 2016, but kind of take us like what was the lead up to that?
The lead up to that was pretty much like any other 21, 22-year-old kid who, like, I had big dreams and big goals. And so I remember being stuck, just like a lot of people felt, where they're like, what do I do? What do I put my energy towards? And so I sort of dabbled in a bunch of different things. And I got into this business sort of on accident. I first got into investment banking, which, in my case was a little bit more, less investment banking, more like life insurance sales and stuff.
Interesting.
And as soon as I identified that and sort of what investment banking is, I mean, investment banking is really, really cool, right?
Yeah.
Just banking. I mean, all that stuff is cool. I love the financial world as well. However, it just simply wasn't for me.
Right.
And I noticed this niche in real estate development. And one of my mentors at the time was like, hey, you got to dive in. You just have to dive in. Right now is the time to make mistakes. It's okay if you try something and it's not for you. The point is, try things and give it your all and see where it goes. And I was like, what do you think I should do? He's like, well, what's a good position in real estate that you can get a nice learning curve in? And he just said, he's like, I was thinking for a little bit, it's like, he's like, dude, become a real estate agent. Go become a real estate agent or something. Yeah. And so I did. And, my Persian parents.
How happy were they?
They were supportive, but sort of, I'm very aware of the cues, right? And they were definitely like, oh, okay.
Not a doctor?
Yeah, not a
not
doctor.
a lawyer? Not an engineer?
Because I think you originally were going to be a doctor, right?
Yeah,
was the path? Yeah.
Exactly.
You went to Waco, right?
Yes, I did. I went to Baylor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sick'em Bears.
Okay.
Yeah, Sick'em Bears.
What did you like Waco?
I did enjoy. I enjoyed Baylor. And overall, I did enjoy Waco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Waco, and I think Waco is like an acquired taste for some folks, right?
Yes.
And like I'm from there, and so like I couldn't wait to leave, right? And then which was the case. And then after I went to college, like I started noticing a lot of my friends were like moving, like they were like from college, they were moving to Waco, and I was like, it's cool now. Everybody's going there now. Like when we couldn't wait to leave, which is obviously true of any place that you leave. I meet kids all the time here in Houston that they can't wait to leave Houston, right? And I'm like, I just got here, I'm not leaving, man. I love it here, right?
Exactly.
So it's definitely one of those things
really
where I think if you have good community, I think Waco is a great place, but like it's not for everybody. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big city guy.
Yeah.
So it was a culture shock for me.
Okay.
However, I mean, like I said, overall it was a good experience.
Yeah. So you decided you're going to be a real estate agent, and then that's when you got connected with City Quest, or kind of what was that person?
Yeah. So
like?
I actually, so how it happened was a friend of mine. So when I was in high school, I started this club called Future Entrepreneurs of America.
Okay.
And, to be honest, I started because I thought I wanted to get into a really good entrepreneurship program. And I thought it would be didn't exist at my school. And I thought this is a perfect resume builder.
Yeah.
And I did start it kind of late in high school, but I tried my best to, give it my all. There was this guy that was in the club who also gave it his all, and I became friends with him because we were in one of the same classes. And he messaged me on Facebook and he said, "Hey, my father is building a project for this developer. I noticed you just got your real estate license. Did you want me to set up a meeting?" First of all, I'd like to say shout out to Hamza because Hamza with Modena Homes. This guy is who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And, he's actually a developer now himself.
Okay.
Really successful guy. They have a family business along with his brothers, his father. So shout out because, our trajectories have been pretty epic since. But anyway, Hamza messages me on Facebook. Says, I'm going to get you this meeting with this developer. I'm like, yes. Right? So
This is when you were a solo.
Yeah, I was actually working at this. As soon as I got licensed, for about 6 months, I worked at this relocation real estate company.
Gotcha.
And so, but this whole time, I knew I needed to get into this development space. And here you go. My boy Hamza messages me on Facebook. I have this meeting, and I'm super naive, right? I have no idea how other agents are pitching to land a listing, and I'm going on HAR. I'm downloading all these any graph I can find. I was clicking it, downloading it, running comps, and I showed up. And the first meeting was, getting to know each other. We walked around the project. They shared a bunch of the plans with me and familiarized me with the project. And then I came back, and that was my marketing pitch. And I told these guys that I'm going to hire a sign flipper. Like, those dudes who are doing
all the tricks in the world.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to hire him. He's going to stand on the corner every weekend. And I thought QR codes were I was like, QR codes, guys. It's the next big thing. I'm going to put QR codes on all of your signage. And they were like, okay, yeah, man, great. So they actually entertained me for about 4 meetings. And I show up to one, and on the way there, I'm not kidding, I was like, I got this. There's no way they're meeting with me this many times,
Right.
and I'm not going to get this project. And it was a 40-unit development in East Downtown, and these guys are luxury builders, and it was like the jackpot, right? And I'm driving there excited, game planning what life is going to be like. I get to go tell my parents, hey, I did it, guys, right? Like, it's okay that I didn't become a doctor.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Still made it.
Exactly. But I get there, and, they offer me some coffee, and they're just being super sweet, and they're like, hey, man, listen. This is our
Sounds like a breakup.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our baby, and we can't, you're brand new to the business, and we love your energy. You seem like a great kid, but there's just too much on the line for us to give you this project right now. And one of the best things from this was that he said, hey, if you want to get into this industry, specifically in this niche, you should reach out to some of the other guys that we're interviewing. And I was like, please, let me know who they are. I'll reach out right away. And so they gave me 3 names. And I did some research. One of the names that they gave me was Patrick Burbridge with City Quest Properties. And so the next morning, after Googling all these people, looking at everything online, I called Patrick at like 9 a.m. I actually called City Quest office. And they were like, hey, Patrick's right here. And I told them basically, hey, I was your competition on this project, and I don't want to lose another project again. You guys were my competition. I was like super douchey with them, right? I was young, naive again. And they're like, what are you doing right now? Like, what are you doing this morning? Could you be at our office by 11? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I get suited up, and I go to this meeting, and I meet Patrick, and I show them all the plans that I was working on and all the QR code stuff. And he goes, hey, well, guess what? I lost that project too. Some other guy got it. However, if this is what you want to do, then you should work with me. And I think you're going to be very successful, but I think you're going to get there faster with me.
Wow.
And so he took me under his wing, and the rest is history, and still flowing history, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just the
still
beginning.
being written.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how I got into this arena.
Yeah. Okay.
Dang.
And so, like, what do you think at this point? You know, you've been in the game for a couple years. You know, you got your own developments now. I mean, you're like, you know, City Quest is one of the top names in the game. So, like, what would you say is the key to buying a good new construction home now? Right. I think that's the messaging that I know I've been putting out as an agent. Is like, hey, you have the opportunity to get new construction because, you know, builders are willing to give incentives. You know, you can get your equity faster. There's a lot of things. So, like, what would be your take on, you know, buying a new construction home, given that that's all you guys do?
I think buying a new construction home. Are you asking what benefits there?
Yeah,
is
I
with
mean,
a new
like, yeah, like,
construction
what's the key to it? Like, I mean, what
What's the
should
key
people
to
be
it?
looking for?
Okay.
Like,
Well, I think the key to buying a new construction home is the right advisor.
okay,
I think that is the key. A lot of times people think that you don't need a real estate agent to have your back on a new construction home.
I hear that a lot.
And I think the key to finding the right home, if you're looking for a new home, is to pair up with someone who understands the new construction process, can tell what a quality home is, and advise you through negotiating properly, through, you know, identifying the things that are the most important.
yeah,
Because if you don't have that light guiding you, you're kind of walking blind,
yeah,
and it's like Russian roulette. You're just basically going off of what looks shiny and what looks, you know, you're just walking around looking at things. You're like, yeah, I think this is the one.
yeah,
Which is fine,
Yeah.
right? But if you want to have an optimal experience,
yeah.
I think that's the way to go.
Okay, gotcha. And what would you say, like, are some of the benefits of new construction specifically?
Yeah. Well, it's important to remember that every house was once a new construction home.
Yeah,
Every house was a new house. And why not be the first person in there, right? Because you get the benefit of living there while no home is perfect, right? These are man-made structures.
right.
So if you buy a new house, the likelihood of all those maintenance expenses that come with owning a home is dramatically less.
Yeah,
So you get to experience you get to be the first person or family living in this house, and you get to experience the growth of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You get to get that equity. You get to live in a vibrant part of town,
yeah, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
have that nice new home.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one more question for you, and I'll kick it over to you, JD. So in terms of new construction, not all new construction is the same, right? And obviously, when you start talking about the D.R. Hortons of the world or some of the bigger builders, sometimes there starts to be quality issues where sometimes people feel like, hey, if you go new construction, you're going to get a crappier product, right? Because they're, building at mass, right? So talk to me about, like, how do you actually look at a new construction product and know that you're getting a good deal and you're not just getting, like you said, and what looks nice, but behind the walls, it's just built really quickly and they're just trying to get to the profits, right? Because, I think there are different philosophies when it comes to building, right? You have the mass producers who are just like, they're just getting product out fast, selling it, right? Then you have your luxury builders who are, they're putting a lot of time and intensity, and obviously they're at a higher price point, so they can do that. So then obviously there's kind of a middle ground where I think a lot of houses are, where like, okay, they're priced based off the location. You want to live in Spring Branch or you want to live in Edo. Hey, you're living inside the loop, so you're going to pay more for those. But then also, like, okay, how do you know you're getting a good product and you're not just getting a crappy product in a great location? You know what I mean? So, like, how do you navigate that piece of it?
Well, it goes back to having the right advisor.
Okay.
Because they know the material, right? They can tell what is apartment grade, or what, it's not that much more expensive for this developer to use just a little bit of a superior material. You got to have the right guidance to know what the difference is.
Okay.
one little golden nugget I'll throw out there is that mass production developments can absolutely also have high quality. And what I've identified, what my opinion is as of right now, is that it all depends on who the construction manager is. If the construction manager is fire and they're on top of everything and they have OCD and perfectionism and they work with a big brand national builder, hey, guess what? That neighborhood's going to be epic because it's really about the person in charge of putting all the pieces together. That is the key factor in how a construction home ends up being at the end.
That's game right there.
Yeah, that's
right. And so,
important.
as an advisor, you would know who the good construction manager, project managers are because,
or,
like,
hey,
you do it.
some people are afraid to ask. Why not? Why not be like, hey, do you mind sharing who this construction manager is? Who's the guy that built this house?
Yeah.
And guy or girl that built this place. And hey, go on LinkedIn real quick, right? Or ask them. Ask the salesperson, hey, do you have any insight on the construction manager? Some people might think this is overkill, but I think it's absolutely necessary. If it's there, why not ask? Why are people scared to ask this? And I just think that's a really, really key aspect of it all.
Awesome.
I feel like you're touching a lot of the points I was about to ask because you've been in the game for a while.
Yeah.
And knowing Brian, he's not the type of guy to brag about himself.
Yeah.
Little do most people know that.
Please.
Homeboy over here has almost over 500 transactions under his belt.
Let's go.
So he's been in the game for a long time, not just buying homes, flipping homes, land acquisitions, helping developers build small projects to big projects. You've been in the game for a while, and a lot of people are trying to even get into it. It's very hard, very difficult. And I think you already touched some of the points, but kind of want to reiterate on, hey, if you were to start over, or hey, you were trying to build the perfect project, working with the team, what would construction managers, what do they need? What do they need, like, a title company, lenders? Like, give us the whole kind of Brian Shemirani blueprint on building the perfect team for the perfect project.
I think it boils down to, man, this is going to sound super cheesy, but it's true, okay? How passionate everybody is about what they're doing. If it starts with a developer, right? The developer is the person who has the idea, and they have the concept, and they build the team around them to make that a reality. They're sort of like the director, right?
Okay.
We're going to, correlate it with movies. Everybody has to be passionate, right? If a developer is genuinely and passionately thinking about bringing value to their community, that's how you know the project is also going to be awesome, because they're going to have that perfectionism when it comes to, I got to have the right architect. I got to have the right contractors. I got to have the right builders. And, of course, it's a learning process. You meet people, you hire them, and you go, I love these guys, but, there's better, right? If you find passion, then you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because if everybody's in love with this and they want to bring something different to the table, something quality, then that end product, when you hand over the keys, is also likely going to be very epic as well.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
No, I believe that, because anybody can make good Indian food, but if there's no love behind it,
if
there's no love behind it, it's not as good.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it is kind of a cheesy thing, but I think that's truly right, because the people who are more passionate and they care about it, you feel it through the whole process, and that trust is already there.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you already have their back, they have your back.
And there's a track record. You can see, you can tell, who's passionate and who's not. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Right?
So is that what you look for in your salespeople? Is like, are you looking for passion? Like,
Yes.
I mean, like, what is okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Gotta love the
how do you know what passion is? Obviously, when you're interviewing somebody, no one shows up to an interview not passionate. Nobody shows up to an interview like,
You see
know what
their
I mean?
best, you see their best self right there.
Yeah, because I think for me, when I look at sales and when I look at people who I think have that it factor or that dog in them, you know what I mean? It's like, I look for people who don't make excuses and for people who like would do whatever it takes, right? The people who are willing to look foolish on social media until they get dialed in. Like I'm looking for the people who like, you know, don't make excuses. They're just like their solution. Like there's always looking for a solution to solve problems. So that's when I'm like, okay, that's a good salesperson because they're going to take that same energy. So is that kind of how you would, what you look for on your team?
I'm about to say another cheesy thing. And
Say
you know what?
Best time to
It's
say
the
it.
truth. I don't know how else to frame it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't even believe it.
Okay.
But it's true. When you see people's reason for why they're doing it, right? It's about the why. It's about what your why is. I can't even believe how cheesy it is, but it's, again, the truth.
Yeah.
When someone is doing something because of the strength of their why, you can tell. Because their why is so strong that all the hardships that come with the grind, you just shrug it off your back and you just keep going forward. You just keep going forward. Those are the people who are going to be successful. And not even in real estate, I think with everything.
Okay.
Because, you know, I'll give you an example, right? If you are trying to get into the real estate business because you see the fruits of the hard work, you see people, you know,
driving the nice
cars.
cars.
And it doesn't help when a lot of
Nice
marketing.
pose.
It doesn't help with a lot of marketing is like slow motion, quick shot of the watch, quick shot of the Armani suit. It's like, okay, that's also, you know, a part of that ripple effect. But if you are just wanting the material, then when you get, and Mike Tyson said it best, right? Everybody thinks they're hard until they get punched in the face.
Yep,
Right.
Because guess what? Any hard endeavor, you're going to get punched in the face. Like figuratively, right? Because something's going to happen during that journey that's difficult. And if your why isn't strong enough, you're going to be like, man, this is hard. I'm just going to look for, you know what? I'm just going to look for another job. Which, again, is absolutely okay. Because hopefully you're just aligned with a why that pairs up with another thing. And, dude, that's your thing.
Right.
And it's absolutely okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, this is not like an exclusive club. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just, hey, you gave it your shot. And, you know, it didn't work out. And it's completely okay.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. And has that been the secret to y'all's success at City Quest? Because I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, you guys are up, you know, top 3 in terms of, you know, development, new construction in the city, and I think everyone recognizes y'all's brand. Like, what's been kind of the secret to that? I mean, is it just the passion and knowing your why? I mean, like, is that
I think
it?
it's
Like,
passion. Like we, you know, we're definitely super passionate.
okay.
And I believe in good karma too, right?
Yeah. So
We
give
do
me the
good
real,
business.
man, because that sounds fluffy, right? I'm like,
know,
okay, well,
I
like, what is that?
know,
Like, what,
dude.
like,
Like the decisions are made with everybody in mind, and like making sure that you're just doing the right thing,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
It's as simple as that. If you just work hard, do the right thing, and just try to be better and better, and the other thing is adapting, right? Because when I started, this space was different.
Yeah.
And pretty much every year it keeps changing.
Okay.
So you sort of have to keep adapting and keep shifting. And I think keeping the pulse on things like that is what the leadership at City Quest has done phenomenally. Is as soon as they see a way to better service their clients, they make a move on it and adapt and do that thing and think of other ways to just be better.
Yeah.
So staying ahead of the curve and also trying to think of new ways to create that new curve.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing I actually noticed, I was talking to a friend the other day, and I won't say the builder that we were with, and we were looking at a product, and she's a designer, and she was giving me some feedback on the, hey, they should have done this, they should have done that. And one of the things she was talking about was the back door, right? And so this developer had put just like a standard like back door to your patio, right? She's like, if they would have put a sliding glass door here, it would have opened the space up. And she's like, it's not that much more expensive to do, and it could have. And then I walked into one of y'all's products, and y'all had a sliding glass door, and I was like, they get it, right?
That's the other thing.
Yeah,
Small details, you know, big impact.
Exactly. But that just also goes along with how passionate the developer is, because they listen to buyers' feedback. People come in and they say, you know, this would have been the perfect house for me, but I wish it had this. If when you have someone who will adapt and be like, you know what, on that next phase, let's listen to what people want. And then what do you know? A lot more people have that same opinion. So, you know, listening to buyer feedback is also very, very important.
Gotcha. Love it. Yeah, JD, what you got?
Shoot, what do I got?
You have delicious biryani, bro.
Dude, I kind of want to just finish it right now.
Yeah. Y'all want to try some of the dessert?
Yes.
Let's break into it. So we got the peach cobbler lady. So I'm just gonna let you guys dive into it. I've already had way too many sweets this holiday season, so I'm gonna let you guys take the calories.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me, bro.
Oh, you already got one. All right, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So while you guys are digging into that, Brian, I know you have some hobbies, man. So tell us kind of what some of your hobbies are. What do you do for fun?
So I love playing golf because it's definitely relaxing, but also mentally stimulating.
Yeah,
and it also, I suck at golf. So, you know, wanting to be committed to being better and better is huge to me. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, every single time I go out on the course, I like that progression. I love the feeling of learning something else and just tweaking the game. And then you go out again, and you're like, yes, that worked.
Yeah.
And just building on that, I'm just so excited for a lifetime of just learning on that course.
Okay.
So golf is awesome. And then the randomest thing is I got into polo lately.
Okay.
Which is wild, right? Like,
yeah. I don't know anybody who plays polo.
Yeah. So
Some people are scared of horses.
Dude, another thing that was random in an accident. So growing up, you know, Persian people are very proud of talking about what inventions they contributed to, or like what is theirs or whatever. So growing up, I always heard about how polo derived from a Persian military cavalry exercise for, you know, it trained the horses to be agile and also the warriors to stay on horseback and have their equilibrium.
Okay.
And so they played this game called Chogan. And so growing up, I was like, man, that's awesome, right? So I was having lunch one day, and it was this HAR Political Affairs Committee luncheon. And this gentleman walks in, and he was sitting next to me, and he was so cool. And he was basically talking about how sore he was the whole time. And I was like, hey, you been working out or what? What's going on? Like, you all right? Because he was actually kind of like the whole time.
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, I play polo. And I'm like, I literally was like, I stopped. I was like, polo? I was like, you play polo? And he's like, yeah, I got a guy. He's training me polo right now. And I was like, can you give me that guy's number? Like, what is it? Like, do you have a horse?
Yeah.
Do you own a horse? Like, what's going on here? And so he sort of gave me the lowdown. He's like, there's a club, polo club, that teaches people polo. And I got this coach, and you just show up, you know, the first couple lessons, you just show up in jeans and some boots, and you'll just go from there. And based on your interest level, you just grow from there. And so that's exactly what I did. I reached out to his guy.
Yeah.
And yes, Mr. Amaya, you're amazing. It's a privilege to work with you. This guy is awesome. He was a veterinary surgeon.
Okay.
Horses.
Nice.
Who ends up being a international polo player and coach.
That's dope.
And this guy this guy just randomly gets connected to him.
That's so cool,
And
bro.
so, yeah, just been playing polo for the last year, learning how to ride a horse and learning the game. And it's been one of the best things that's happened in my life, honestly.
That's awesome.
So that's also been very fun. And by the way, it's not that expensive. A lot of times people think it's like
It's a rich man's
this,
sport.
an uppity sport. It's really not. You know,
Yeah.
out in in the Texas polo culture, you got all sorts of people playing polo, and I think it's a beautiful sport. So that's another hobby
Yeah. Okay.
that I enjoy.
That's dope, bro.
Are you
I
willing
love
to
my
argue
daughters.
that horse is a man's best friend and not a dog?
Oh, that's a whole other conversation. Hey guys, I love dogs. I'm a dog. I love dogs.
Yeah.
But who is man's first best friend?
Let me guess. Was it the horse?
It was a horse, baby.
Yeah.
Think about it. For thousands of years, if you really think about it, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, what was the average human being utilizing for transportation, feeding it, taking care of it, having that? And horses are so smart.
Yeah.
That relationship, you better believe man's real best friend
Yeah.
is a stallion. It's a pony.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion.
Nice. Nice.
What do you think though? Is like, come on, am I onto something?
I think you're.
I didn't
would
realize
agree.
that until you brought it up.
I would
the other
agree.
day.
I honestly
Yeah.
would agree because I think when you think about like, you know, like you said, like we've been riding horses way longer than we've had dogs as pets, right?
I think, hey, dude, someone fact check this because
Yeah.
fact
I'm
check
pretty
this.
sure. But like,
I
super
personally am biased because I
domesticated,
just
cute
like horses.
dogs?
I'm a cat person, to be honest. I'm
love
not really a
cats,
dog person, so I'm also slightly biased there too. So
I got you. I'm a
I'd
cat
rather
guy,
have a
too.
horse than a dog.
His cat's very
So
nice.
yeah, but my cat honestly has a dog personality, so I'm kind of getting a little
Ooh,
bit
even
of
better.
like, he's very talkative, social. He does that whole thing. He's not like the cat that's like hiding away. He's very he's in
Hissing
the
at
mix.
you
Yeah,
when
no,
people-
he's in the
No,
mix.
he
so.
wants to be on your lap, in
Yeah.
your
Aw,
face,
that's
Yeah.
be petted.
I
Yeah,
love that. I love cats too.
cool. Well, I think JD got like one more question for him. Yeah,
Brian,
Yes.
we're on a podcast.
Yes.
God forbid anything happens. But hey, if this is the last podcast you're on, what do you want the world to know? The last words, hypothetically, anybody's going to hear from Mr. Brian Shemirani. What do you want the world to really, really know?
I think I'll just share the most profound thing anybody's ever told me, which I had a mentor, a dear mentor, Bob Bonsignore. And shout out Bob Bonsignore. He told me that you should never write your beliefs or opinions in Sharpie. You should always write them in pencil. And of course, I asked him to elaborate. And he said, throughout life, you're going to be introduced to new information. And if you write your ideas, your thoughts, and your beliefs and opinions in Sharpie, you're stuck. There's no growth. It's very important to get new information. And if something's introduced to you that challenges that belief or opinion, look at it and you have two options, right? You're like, you know what? I still believe that based on this new information. Or what's very important is the person that receives new information and they get to go, I didn't know that. Let me erase this real quick, modify it, and boom. Now I'm an evolving human being. Yeah. Instead of someone who, some people have opinions and beliefs and they're confronted with a thought or information that challenges that. And now instead of being like, you know what? Good point. They're like, no, and they double down, right? And I just think it's definitely better to be the type of person who, is very accepting of new information and ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah, bro,
That's a good
like
point,
that.
especially in what we do. There's new things every year.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
who knows if
What do you
QR
guys
codes
think?
are a thing now? Believe it or not.
Yeah,
So
you know.
it's like
I actually
QR
found out
codes.
they were like they've been a thing. Like
Yeah.
I found out very quickly that I was like, oh, okay, well that wasn't anything. But
Yeah.
But what do you guys think of what I just said? Like, because that was very impactful for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with it. I think I would say that there are like your foundational things. I think have to be in Sharpie in terms of like what your core values are.
Yes, of course,
right. And
of
so
course.
I think like for me, I'm like, okay, there's certain things that I'm always gonna do. Like I'm always gonna be servant minded. I'm always gonna put my faith and my family first.
Yes.
And then those are the core things that stabilize me, that allow me to then pencil in certain things and unpencil them, right?
Yes.
But I always want to have like at least that one stabilization thing that's like no matter what, like I'm sticking to this, right? That's just who I am as a core person. And I think it takes time to kind of understand what is your core. You know what I mean? Because like it's kind of like, especially that's what I think what your 20s are supposed to be, is like where you're figuring out like, hey, what are my pillars, right? And then once you get to your 30s and your 40s, like you got your pillars in, but then like you said, you always got to be willing to like learn and be able to like absorb new information.
Yes.
So you can't be so rigid to be like, oh no, I can't accept that. But yeah, that's kind of what I would say. But I think, and I think it's good because I think people do need to be more flexible. I mean, you just look at our society; everything's getting more black and white. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to align with their political party or their their identity and their sexuality or in their job or when their whatever their thing is. And I think people are just like doing that because it's certain, right? You know for sure. It's like harder to be flexible because like sometimes when you're flexible, like. And like you may swing this way and then you're swinging this way or doing this, it can be like unnerving.
Or now you're outcasted because you're in limbo.
Right.
Because there's these audiences at these super extreme sides. And if you're flexible, you're sort of just like, oh, you're like in limbo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody
Sometimes
really,
you get
people in
that.
limbo don't win. Yeah. And I think like it or not, I think people who know who they are always gonna win. And like not to get political, but like I definitely think that like you see political candidates that win are typically the political candidates that are just unashamed about who they are, whether you like it or don't. And so like I think that's what happened with our current election. And like I'm not even saying like whether I agree or not with whatever politician, but I think it was clear that like hey,
authenticity
It's gonna win every time.
it matters.
Yeah, and I think like your people will know who you are when you're authentic. But if you're one thing for everybody, then nobody really actually knows who you are. And I think I think the underlying thing is like people know when you're being authentic or not, and they can feel that energy, right? So if I'm like, yo, I don't feel authenticity. I don't even think you would even consciously think it. I think sometimes you can just feel it.
Like you don't either you're hot or you're cold.
Yeah,
and you could tell when something's lukewarm. It's like I don't want lukewarm ice cream. I want cold ice cream.
Yeah.
I don't want lukewarm soup.
Even if you don't like ice cream, you can just be like, yo, I don't like ice cream. I want soup. But if I'm not sure if you're ice cream or soup, then I can't pick it.
Give me a straightforward answer. Like, we'll be just fine.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that I'm always, that's all when we go back to sales and secret sauce and new development, all those things. It's like, yo, be who you're supposed to be, right? And just be like authentically that 100%. And if it's not for you, it's not for you, right? And so I think, even for like homeowners, like if you're looking for that new construction home, like know what you want and know what you're looking for, right? And don't be like trying to have everything and do, like pick the things that are important to you and then know, okay, we need to have a great kitchen and we need to have a great backyard. Like those are things that are important to us. Okay, maybe we have a smaller master bedroom or a smaller XYZ. Okay, we're willing to live with that because we have our core values, right? Yeah. So I think it all comes down to like before you start your search or when you're searching, it's like actually understand what are those pillars. And then like to Brian's point, be willing to pencil in everything else, right? And like a good advisor will help you understand what those things are. So when you start your search, we're going straight there, right? Yeah. So I want to kind of add that in and kind of bring the context to that in terms of kind of this conversation as well. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. That was awesome.
Oh, that was a good answer. I loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey guys, thank y'all for coming on the Blueprint Podcast. If you want more information on Josh is a mortgage lender. Will help you get financing to purchase one of Brian's houses. Yes. I can also help you buy a house as well. So we'll have Brian and JD's information in the description, so you can check out CityQuest and CTC Mortgage to purchase your next new construction home in Houston. Go to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.